Hi guys, and welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you for all of your messages, and thank you to everyone who has signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so many people that have signed up, and I just thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, and I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. You know, insulates Britain. Again, as we speak, they're up on the M25, and this time they've blocked both carriageways of the actual M25 today, and not just like a slip road. And they put some blue paint up on the road and all them things there as well. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, they did throw the gauntlet down to the government last night. Say, you know what? Just make some type of statement to say that you hear us, to hear what we're saying, right? And then we'll stop our protest. That's all they have to do, just by 9 o'clock. So they laid down the gauntlet to Priti Patel. And you know Priti Patel, yeah? She hard, right? So she ain't gonna take, she ain't gonna be frightened by that at all, right? You know? But you know what really strikes me about this whole thing, right? Because you know the Tories, they're trying to bring in some new laws, right? About protests and all those type of things, right? But from what I've seen over the last few days, yeah, I don't really think the police need any new laws, right? Because the police seem to just drag these people off the roads as and when they want. Do you know what I mean? So you know, it seems to be the police have to, the police have to get there in time, right? Because obviously, if there's only two or three police officers, then they've got like 30 people from Insulate Britain, right? Then as soon as they've got their chance, they just run up in the road. That's it, and the police have got to wait till they've got their numbers before they can start dragging people out the road. But from what I've seen this morning, the police was just dragging them straight out. Right? So I don't know why. I don't know why the Priti Patel, right, needs to introduce any new laws, right? That for me, that's just completely ridiculous. I mean, because the police seem to have all the powers that they need to be able to deal with this situation as it is. Do you know what I mean? You got to remember, yeah, that you know, we never liked the suffragettes, right? When the suffragettes, right, was protesting and demonstrating, right? The people of the country was the same, exactly the same. All you motherfuckers was the same people, right? Same people, right? They're saying, you know what? No, right? What are they protesting for, right? Why do women need to vote? As far as they're concerned. So you see, it's nothing new. Do you know what I mean? This is nothing new. Do you know what I mean? And you can say, well, you can't really lay calls to the suffragettes, but it's the way they're looking at it. I think they're looking at it as serious. Do you know what I mean? So and when they're in these little groups like that, the police are gonna have some problems. But a lot of these guys, yeah, some of them have been arrested now. This would be like their second or third time that they're arrested, right? So, I mean, some of them are going to start getting put on remand. So we have to see like how much people this group really have. Do you know what I mean? And whether or not, yeah, the magistrates in this country, yeah, are prepared to put people who are going out there demonstrating, whether or not the magistrates are prepared to throw them in prison on remand. Do you know what I mean? Even after giving them conditions not to go out there and demonstrate. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, we have to wonder, because I'm sure that everyone agrees that we should be allowed to go out there and demonstrate, right? But in practice, whether or not the courts are going to deal with these people, or the courts are going to say, well, you know what, this is a difficult situation. Do you know what I mean? But then the law is the law, isn't it, out there? Do you know what I mean? So we just don't know what's going to happen with that situation. But I do know both carriages on the M25 right now are blocked. That's what I do know, right? Just by walking, right? And that's some serious shit, because obviously it's the main road. So this is the reason why they keep actually attacking this particular road, right? But if they start coming in like greater numbers, right, and if they start coming in like numbers in like 100, or then it's going to be this will be a lot more difficult, because you've got like 100 protesters blocking the road, yeah, and you're going to need like you're going to need a lot of police officers. You're going to need a lot of police officers. Do you know what I mean? Because most police officers are dealing with, like, you've got two police officers to one person, or sometimes three police officers to one person. Do you know what I mean? So so you're going to need much. Sometimes you're going to need near enough as much police officers as there are protesters there. especially if they're doing this type of thing, because it's a peaceful protest. They're just, so they're not violent people, right? And most of them are pensioners. So so we just have to wonder where this situation is going to go. But I do know that their tactics are fantastic. that is one thing. Their tactics are definitely great. Do you know what I mean? And they're certainly hitting home. And obviously they sent their letter to the government to ask them, just say something, just a little something at least, you know, and their demands wasn't met, right? But I believe that the government was saying we do not negotiate with terrorists, so and we're obviously now we've still got our energy crisis, right? Now I wonder, how many of the Red Wall MPs, voted for the £20 UC to be taken away from you? I wonder how much of them actually voted for that. You know, you just have to wonder, innit? Because really, I'm sure that a lot of their constituents are going to be hit the hardest by that. Right? The energy crisis has come about, because we have had years of mismanagement of energy in this country, right? Because it's been given over to private companies, right? And private companies, they just need to make their profits, and they don't really care about much else, right? So this is the reason why we've got a major energy crisis. Now, there's talks of like a 3-day week. Well, when I hear them talking about these type of things, right, it gets me nervous, right? Because and then they're saying, like, that 50% of people, right, might not be eating any Christmas dinner. Well, definitely, not a Christmas dinner that involves any meat. Right? Already we can grow potatoes and parsnips and carrots, right? But then again, if there's no one in the field to pick these things, then they ain't gonna be any good to us, on Christmas Day, right, when they're still in the field. So when they're talking about, like, 3-day weeks and like lights going out and all this type of stuff, do you know what I mean? This is worrying. I don't know if these things are going to happen. Do you know what I mean? None of us know. None of us right now. None of us know at all. Do you know what I mean? Whether or not any of these things are actually going to happen. Do you know what I mean? But it's something that they're talking about. Do you know what I mean? And that can't be right for them to be talking about this type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, not at all. And then on the weekend, right, was 100 years of Chequers. Right? That's the Prime Minister's secret getaway. Well, actually not so secret, but it's apparently a beautiful house in a really beautiful location, and they always take other world leaders there to show it off. Well, it was 100 years that it's been in the hands of the government, or other government of the day. And so Boris Johnson had he was throwing a big bash for the 100 years, right? And obviously all the previous prime ministers that are alive was invited. And as you know, Boris Johnson, he ain't really got no friends, right? Because nobody really like him, apart from all the working class Tories. They're the only people that like him. They're the only people. Right, this man, the only former prime minister he could pull, right, was Theresa May, right, and she only went there to gloat. I guarantee you, that's the only reason Theresa May just went there, was just to say, you know what, I'm just going to gloat, right, so I could tell you how badly you're doing. Tony Blair's like, I ain't going. And for Tony Blair, to turn down your invitation, that's disgusting, right? The man he's a terrorist, right? He's a war criminal, right? And he's got the cheek to turn down. God damn, that's ridiculous, right? And John Major was like, I got things to do. I need to go and see Edwina Curry. There's a joke in there, right? Right? All the big foreign David Cameron. was like, I'm going to be in my shed with all the rest of the tools. Right? So none of them was like, they was just like, no, Boris, we're not really feeling that. That's horrible, isn't it? Really, that's horrible to do. You know what I mean? Just like that in plain sight. Just like the England football team was just like, right? After they've done so well, right, in the last European Championships, right? After they've done so well, right, and then only for Boris to, he invited them, right? And I was like, no, we ain't coming to hang out with you, right? You and Priti Patel are a bunch of flipping racists, so we ain't coming to hang out with you. And done, right? So today Boris is in America, yeah. But yesterday Boris was like, he had to go and see Jeff Bezos. What? You had to go and see Jeff Bezos? No, Jeff Bezos should come to see you. You shouldn't have to go and see Jeff Bezos. What the hell is that about? What the hell are you going to go and see Jeff Bezos? Why the hell are you giving Jeff Bezos so much power? Why? Jeff Bezos needs to get his ass into Downing Street to see you. You don't go and see Jeff Bezos. Who the fuck is Jeff Bezos? Seriously, this is the... You know something, yeah? You see, this is the reason why we've got the energy crisis, right? Because these people allow big business to manipulate everything, right? Jeff Bezos, right? You don't go to see Jeff Bezos. You're a prime minister. Jeff Bezos comes to see you. Jeff Bezos, oh please, Mr. Bezos, will you pay some tax? Will you pay your tax properly? Please. No, you send for Jeff Bezos. You say, hey Bezos, yeah, get into 10 Downing Street, right? In fact, we want to see you in front of one of our commissions, right, where you can get questioned by some MPs, right? And the first thing a prime minister should say is, listen, you little fool, pay your tax properly. Pay all the tax that's due. Simple. But these men are like, oh, please, Mr. Bezos. Please, Mr. Bezos, please can you pay your tax? Please, look, we come to see you. Right? I was going to say something really nasty. I just forgot what the hell I am. Right? But this is who these people are. Why are you begging Jeff Bezos to pay taxes? The man just paid £5.5 million to go to space for 4 minutes. Listen, I know that, like, when you see his tax bill, right, you're going to look at it and say, you know what, that tax bill is obscene, right, because it is a lot of money they're paying tax, right, but he's taking billions, right, and he's just paying a few hundred million in taxes while he's taking billions. Okay, £5.5 million to fly in space for I believe it was about 3.5 minutes. They say it's 4. I think about 3.5 minutes. Right. I mean, I can think of a lot of better things to do with £5.5 million. Right, a lot better things, right? But this is who these people are. Do you know what I mean? They're just like, allowing big business just to dictate to them and tell them what to do and when to do it. Jump. And they say, how high do you need us to jump? Right? You don't allow them to dictate to you. You tell them, you just tell them. You go up and you grab them by the lapels and say, listen, you look a fool. You're going to pay your correct tax or you don't operate over here. Simple. That's it. What do you think they're going to do? Pull out, right? While they're making billions of pounds off of us. And if they do, yeah, you know what? Someone else will take their space. Someone else who will pay their tax properly because they've seen what happened to this guy. Right? But you've got so many different countries around the world, yeah, doing different, different tax regimes, different this, different that. Right? So all you should just be is just, you know what? We're just going to deal with our region. You pay your tax in our region, Mr. Bezos. That's it. And we've got like a vaccine nationalism because the Americans are opening back up America to the Brits, right? Even though, right, the Americans have been able to come here all this time because Britain, right, throughout the whole pandemic, the good thing is Britain has been open. We're on a fucking island, right? The borders should have been fucking closed. Nobody should have been coming in and out, right? That's what should have been happening. Right? The first lockdown should have been our only lockdown, and it shouldn't have even been for that long. Right? But even when we was locked down, they was having planes flying and all them things there. Do you know what I mean? Right? Which is just completely ridiculous. Right? So this is why 140,000 of our fellow citizens are dead because of the mismanagement, right, of the COVID-19. Complete and utter mismanagement. And now the Americans are opening back up, yeah, but they're taking the Pfizer, they're taking anybody who's been double jabbed with the Pfizer. But if you've been double jabbed with the AstraZeneca, we don't know yet whether or not you're going to be allowed in. It's just like we don't know whether we're going to be eating turkey this year, right? And some beef and all the rest of the meats to go with it. We don't know if we're going to have that. Just like we don't know at the moment, right, whether or not the AstraZeneca double jabbed will be allowed in America. So there's some vaccine nationalism going on up in there. Do you know what I mean? It's just crazy, isn't it? Just the whole thing is just kind of crazy. Do you know what I mean? And then we've got Brexit. With talk of like 3-day weeks, right? No CO2, right? You know, and the whole Brexit is complete disaster, right? Because it is a disaster, right? And I just for us, everything, right, is going to be so much worse than it is for anybody else around the world. For us, do you know what I mean? Yeah, the shelves are getting more and more empty, right? And that right is down to driver shortage. Right, that's undeniable. That's down to driver shortage, right? Because there's not enough drivers to drive to drive our food about, because our government and you Brexiteers who voted for them, right, have managed to keep all of the European. I mean, most of them are not allowed back anyway, right? And then why the hell would they want to come back to this hostile environment, right? Where soon the lights are getting. We might have like a 3-day week, and they said there's going to be a serious lack of meat on on our shelves, So this is this is Brexit Britain, right? And Brexit Britain is not. It's not a good place at all. It's not a good place to be in at all. Do you know what I mean? It really is not a good place to be in. I'm just saying, what I'm seeing is more and more empty shelves on a daily basis. Right? Every day, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing more and more empty shelves. Do you know what I mean? I've seen the fuel prices. I've seen our fuel prices going up by a couple of pennies on virtually on a daily basis now. Right? We've got soaring food prices coming. Do you know what I mean? The quicker we get ourselves back into into the customs union and the single market, right? That's the better off we will be, right? Because right now that's where we need to be. Do you know what I mean? You see, look, the wholesale gas prices, right? Obviously, right, the EU, right, have got their own agency where they've got control of the gas prices. Do you know what I mean? Right? We're no longer in that, so that's going to make us suffer even more because of us not being in that. That's why I looked once yesterday, and it was like at least the rise was nearly £300, right, on each. So £300 on gas, £300 on electric. Do you know what I mean? Right, so nearly £600, right, extra, right. When I'm looking at the figures, right. So this is what we've got coming, right. And on top of all the stuff with Brexit, right. You know, it doesn't bode for a good situation for us at all. Do you know what I mean? So I think we should call this one Brexit disaster. Do you know what I mean? Right? And it's down to you stupid, xenophobic, bigoted, racist Brexiters. Right? You need, right, to get rid of the racist gene. Right? Because look, out of everyone in the world, right, who do you think is going to hit the worst? Right? And if it hits the worst in this country, that's the working classes that it hits the worst. So that's what we've got to look forward to. Do you know what I mean? They're talking about, shortage of this and shortage of that. Right? Lights out. 3-day weeks. We're going to have to see. Do you know what I mean? Because Kwasi Kwarteng has said, you know what, right? None of this is going to happen. And if you believe that, well, as I told you before, I have a bridge over the Thames that I would like to sell you. Anyway, guys, this is by no means. Sorry. Anyway, guys, this is by any means. This is by any means necessary. I'm Dempsey John Rose. I can't believe I've just done that. So I'll do that a lot. I'll do that again. Anyway, guys, this is by any means necessary. I'm Dempsey John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.